You are listening to the audio portion of the QB Power Hour webinar series, your bi-weekly dose of insights and learning for accounting professionals with co-host Dan DeLong and Sharon Fuller. We're here to explore the latest in the industry, QuickBooks, and integrations that matter to you. For more details on the series, visit qbpowerhour.com.
All right. Well, we also want to introduce or make an announcement that we do have a new spotlight sponsor, Fishbowl, which their inventory management solution, and they'll be joining us in June to talk about their solution. So I want to thank you or thank them for believing in the QB Power Hour as well. My name is Dan DeLong, owner at Schoolofbookkeeping, and Dan Witt, joining you. Worked at Intuit for nearly 18 years. And Sharon, who just came in on two wheel, is joining us.
I don't know what's happening over here. I haven't been at my computer in 2 weeks. I've been at conferences, and I just went to log on and about 20 minutes ago, and nothing was working. And now I'm trying to get my earbuds on, and it's not working either. So I'm going to be here on the side.
Well, while we are introducing our guest today, you can hopefully try to figure that out. So Sean,
and I'm going to go mute real quick because I am likely the reason people are getting an echo until I get my things back up. Sorry, everybody.
All righty. Well, Shauna's joining us today. Shauna, tell us about yourself.
Hello. I am Shauna Quinn. I am owner and founder of East Orlando Bookkeeping for Contractors. And more recently, I launched Bookkeeping for Contractors Group. I specialize in construction, accounting, and job costing systems utilizing the Profit First system. I have been in this space for about 20 years, and my firm is about to be 11 years. Bookkeeping for Contractors is a new one for me, launched just this year. But essentially, what I was doing my own, the back office work, right now I'm teaching others how to take that skill to support our contractor and trade industry from a mentorship education standpoint.
So you're looking, hypothetically, just throwing this out there, you're looking to clone and conquer yourself, right, Sharon?
Is that an option?
Well, that is actually Sharon's community, clone and conquer. So this is great because that's what you're trying to do, is to teach others how to do the things that Shauna does, right? You're making more Shaunas out.
I'm trying to make more Shaunas. Yes. The contractors and trades are such a special industry, and I think it kind of scares a lot of people to think about supporting them because there's so much that goes into it. But I really enjoyed it. You have OCD tendencies, which I think a lot of accounting professionals do. This is a great niche for you.
A little bit about the QB Power Hour webinar updates. Yes, we are moving to a individual registration. You can go to our website and see the schedule as we're planning that out even further into the future. And then you can see what the topics are, which I just realized now I forgot to say the title of today's because I was a little unclear as to what was happening. But yes, we are talking about job costing today and our to-do odds. And that's why Shauna's joining us here, in case you're catching on to what's going on here. But we are going to individual registrations. We've gotten some good feedback from the folks that have done that. And we do still have the series that we had before. And part of the challenge of that series was we had to change things manually each and every week. We couldn't really do things until the prior webinar had passed in order to plan for the future. So we're in that grace period where we have a little bit of lingering stuff with the series, and then but hopefully in a month or so we should have all the bugs killed. I don't know. I think we squash the bugs, right?
We got Charlotte up in here, and Charlotte gets us all organized on that back end. So Dan and I can be like,
yeah, coming in 2 minutes late, or hypothetically.
exactly. I have earbuds now, though. I'm sorry, guys.
Right.
Come on. And I was at HR conferences, 3 of them for 2 weeks, and they kind of put accounting conferences to shame, but we can talk about that later.
All right. Now we do have series. We're bucketing things into series now. So the open tab is all about Intuit news and product updates. Take it to the limit is where we talk about new applications that integrate with QuickBooks. Beyond bookkeeping is where, elevating your services to beyond just categorization or compliance stuff. So advisory type of topics. Niche nuances, which this is one of them, where we'll talk about the industry types and the unique business needs for those types of businesses. Is the grass greener? Evaluating other alternatives to QuickBooks, and then an app showdown, which we're going to have our next one, probably in June-ish time frame, June, July, where we'll be talking about practice management applications, pitting one against the other and determining which might be better for you. Our agenda today, we'll be talking about our Intuit news segment. We'll be just talking about the updates to the Intuit Accountant Suite, that's IAS on the slide there, that the beta has been extended. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then we'll dive into our niche nuances, all about constructions and the special trades. So unique business needs. What does QuickBooks Online offer for construction? We'll compare different versions, Plus versus Advanced, and now Intuit Enterprise Suite, first vertical that they're attacking or not going after. I mean, it sounds so violent that they are addressing. There we go. Is the construction trade. So we'll talk about that. And there is this newish, as of February 11th, a construction add-on that you can add on into Advanced. So we'll talk about those differences between the two. So our first polling question, Sharon, you got that?
Which I would love to launch, but I've been messaging you on so many different platforms for co-hosts. This is my problem. This is my fault, you guys.
All right, there. Now you're a co-host.
Host tools.
There you go. Go ahead.
You're gonna have to launch it. They did weird stuff on the new Zoom. Can we talk about Zoom too?
Yeah. Where is our
not right?
There we go.
That's what I'm telling you. You find them?
There we go. I found it. There we go. You support the construction trade industry.
There they are.
There we go. Okay,
I
that's
got
launching.
you now. I got you guys now. I got Q&A up. I'll answer your questions. We are good. Now we're rolling. And next time Dan, I got to stop waking up at 8 a.m. when we have these.
Man, it's living on the West Coast is part of the challenge. All right. While you're answering that question, we'll talk a little bit about the Intuit Accountant Suite beta is extended. So it was May 1st. So books close and Intuit Accountant Suite accelerate the platform fees, which would have been which would have been $149 if you opted into the accelerate. That would have started on May 1st, but now it is July 1st. So any thoughts about that, Sharon? What are you pontificating about why the beta got switched?
They need more information. I mean, we're feeding it, right? So I think two things. One, they're listening to our podcast and they're probably hearing me hearing me hand everybody pitchforks. No, I'm just kidding. Please don't come at me into it. Or do, whatever. No, I'm just kidding. But I really think they need more time. Maybe they're actually starting to listen to us now. They didn't like the feedback they got. And I think it makes more sense. I hope they push it back even further because July, plus also to start something right after tax season, knowing your clients are really heavy in tax, it should be something that happens around like October, or it's where we have like the last quarter to adjust or make decisions. But even at least July is after a good portion after tax.
Yeah.
So
There's never a
I'm
good
pro
time
this
to.
decision. There's never a good time to start charging your clients for something they've never paid for ever in their life. Got you.
But at least you get, what do you got, 3 months now? I'm doing the math in my head, 5 to, so 2 months. So
Yeah, and
kicked it down.
you have alerted 233 people plus over 400 and something attendees that will now know the answer to this question. And they
That's
cannot.
right. I mean, I think, they still got to work out some of the kinks, maybe some of those things that are coming soon, or, that their listing is coming soon or taking longer to develop. I know one thing of removing an offboarded client from books closed is still not a feature or function. So they got to figure that out before start charging or offering the one option of, we'll just kick off all of your clients is really not a great option. So let's dive in, because we got a lot of stuff to unpack about the niche nuances of construction and special trades. This slide was designed to be a word wall, right? Because it is quite complicated.
Yes,
John, you want to kind of talk about some of the key, business needs of someone in the special trades or construction?
Yeah, and it's quite a bit, but it's not all related to one business or another. It is a variety of different contract types and a different type of industry niches, right? Home builders versus remodelers. So it's overwhelming, but we wanted to make sure that we had as much listed as we could think of that were sort of unique in the world of construction that is already very unique and specific. I don't know where to start because
Which of these things, and then we'll have a poll question later, but of these things from your industry expertise, what is the most important of these things for someone in the special trades or construction?
Well, I feel like several of them. So I'm going to specifically point out, obviously, the top that what's listed up there. And it's on the top for a reason, because project profitability is extremely important. Job costing in itself is something that even I do within my firm. So just part of project profitability, though, is your job costing method. And then obviously part of that are estimating correctly and proper change order tracking. So I feel like they all kind of are intertwined. So one ops are going to be, your AIA and government requirements, which will also relate to that certified payroll down at the bottom, which most government projects will require. But I think that project profitability is definitely the one at the top that should have the most interest in what I see from the majority of my clients as being something that they're constantly needing more detail and more information on.
Yeah. Yeah. And for years, right, the criticism of QuickBooks Online over desktop was it doesn't do job costing, which one person's job costing is not necessarily another person's project profitability, right? So there was always, in Plus, billing by customer, which is rudimentary, job costing, as long as you could put on the expenses, the customer or the sub-customer, you could then have an income and expense by customer. But there's more to it than that. And I think it all boils down to, for me, the business owner demographics, where, you may have, somebody who's new to as a new tradesman or home builder, or how did I join this meeting again? Somebody logged in there's another Dan DeLong in here. How did that happen? Now that I've been totally derailed in my train of thought, but the business owner demographics will kind of guide what is most important to your client. I think at that point, right? Like if they're established and they have a huge team and things like that, they may need a little bit more than someone who's just kind of starting out and just kind of training their gut, right? Because over time, a lot of these people have been around in it for a long time. They just have this innate knowledge of estimation and billing appropriately, where somebody new might not. Would you agree with that, Shauna or Sharon?
Absolutely. I mean, when someone's first getting started, it's probably because it was a passion or they were an employee of of a business and thought I could do this on my own and not work for somebody else. And so someone in the beginning wants to keep it as simple as possible. And then once you get into it more and you grow as a business, you realize that more is required in order for you to separate out the cost of project A from project B. Especially a lot of custom home builders will start to dabble in wanting to do specs. And now you've got two methods of which you should be managing your accounting, and the requirements for that are different, right? So absolutely, owner demographics, location, where they are in their business, and then industry specific type are huge contributing factors.
Right. And so we have this addendum to construction, right? There's, with being in special trades, contractors or plumbing, heating, air conditioning, all of those people may have field service needs like work orders or collecting payments mobily, field service users, and the dispatching of those people, which adds, another layer of those needs specifically within their tech stack. So this is not the first time that Shauna and I have done something together. We did at the School of Bookkeeping, we did a job costing workshop series. So we're not going to dive in too much because we want to make sure that we concentrate on the QuickBooks side of things. But if you want to, in general, just kind of hear Shauna's opinions about job costing in general, we did a whole 7-week series and it's totally free. There's a link there in the slides for the YouTube playlist. So you can hear our conversations over 7 weeks about the different aspects of job costing and the way that QuickBooks can handle some of those things. But now we do want to go into what does QBO offer with the different versions and the different features of that. So this slide here really just kind of sets the stage for the features and the options that are available in the different versions of QuickBooks Online, right? So Plus is where it's going to have the main basic functionality to support that project profitability, right? So you're going to get the project center, and we'll talk about what is included, in advanced in Plus, and then we move up to advanced when they need a little bit more. So they get some more reports, they get some better estimate options, the granularity of user permissions, custom fields. They're going to have those functions, and they'll also have the more AI options with the project management AI that's in advanced over Plus. Now this new construction add-on that is available in advanced has some estimate creation built into the AI, where you can just drag files and it will help generate and create the estimate. There's now project phases that's available, more estimate options, so where you can make estimates in phases or groups, change orders, which is a separate transaction type, automation invoiced by completion, which is pretty cool because once something is done, then you can invoice for that and save the billing workflows, and then support for AIA invoice formatting. Then what's the difference between that and Intuit Enterprise Suite? You're going to have a project management role. Sorry, advanced customers, you don't get the role for project management. You got to go up to Intuit Enterprise Suite for that. And there's more in the AI project management. And there's enhancements in there with regards to how estimates are created and the projects are managed, right? More reports and automated reminders are the core features that you're going to get there. Shauna, any thoughts or add-ons there? Setting the stage here.
No, I think that pretty much covers it. I will say that kind of confusing that the construction add-on for advanced is like around the same time frame of which Intuit is also trying to highly promote IES, but no, I think
yeah, we'll talk about how you add it on, and I see a lot of questions being rolled out there. We'll get to that. So let's start with just what's available in QBO Plus, right? So you've got the Project Center, you've got classes, time and expense for tracking for customers and projects, progress invoicing. These are some of the features that are available. What do you find, Shauna, that are most important in the construction special trades?
I will say that the Project Center is where a lot of this kind of rolls up, and plus, for like time and expense tracking, you can assign labor burdens and all of that to your employees to get a little bit more detail about your actual payroll expenses. The markup settings are okay. You can't assign it more than one. The markup is just what it is. So if you have clients that mark up separately on the material versus the subcontractor, that's a manual management process. The reimbursement expense tracking is pretty good. I've seen the purchase orders. I really don't suggest my clients in the Plus version to use it, because if we're going to move into that direction, Plus doesn't have the rest of the functionalities to support the remainder of what needs to occur in that process, which is more or less for job costing purposes. I see a lot of comments about WIP, so I'll just throw out there real fast. Obviously, it does not. QuickBooks Plus, Advanced, and IES, none of those programs support WIP job costing. So we are specifically talking about the COGS job costing only. And trust me, I have complained and complained and complained about it. So hopefully soon it'll be something that rolls out. Most likely.
Yeah, and then for those of you that are attending, we do have almost 250 folks. It is hard to catch questions as they go by in the chat. If you have specific questions that you want us to address live, please put them in the Q&A. There should be a Q&A option at the bottom of the Zoom panel, and then that will put them in the holding bin so that we can make sure that we can address them. Or go ahead.
Do me a favor. If you want to answer live, write live and then put it so I can leave it for them. If you just need an answer, because if you see me doing this in the background, I'm answering as much as I possibly can. And I'm trying to make sure that I save for them what you want answered live. So if you guys could do that, we will get to as many as you can. I promise. I'll go back on mute.
And since you talked about WIP, I think that's in here. Yeah. So we'll segue nicely into advanced. Wait a minute. There is a WIP report in advanced, but you just said it doesn't support WIP. Talk about what WIP is and what the QuickBooks definition of WIP is.
I think there's a terminology difference that occurs with this industry, and it just like everyone, right? Like from a within this industry, a CFO is not going to use the same terminology to explain something that an accountant is going to use, and it's not going to be the same terminology that a contractor is going to use. So when they say WIP, it actually doesn't refer to as accountants refer to it. It's more or less the which is odd because of the platform that it's coming from. But it is not a work in progress for actual balance sheet job costing. The WIP in progress is considered to be your work in progress report, but it is still only going to pull from the cost of goods account. What do I want to say? Directed cost codes. Same thing with the estimate versus actual report that we have listed here as well. A really nice feature that's come out in advanced, but again, you can fill it out, and then when you start job costing, you'll see if you job cost on the balance sheet, it's not going to pull those over because it is still pulling only from the cost of goods side, not from the balance sheet.
Yeah, and you had all of you started with desktop, right? So, when I first met you, you had already transitioned to QuickBooks Online as a firm, but talk about your journey from QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online to be able to support the people in the special trades.
Well, I had to fall in love with then Excel and then become a master builder in an Excel document, right? And now it's converted. Now I mostly use Google Sheets, but for the live export. And so I try to keep things as updated as possible, but I have a template that I use with all of my WIP job costing clients, my home builders, semi-custom home builders, that kind of stuff that do custom but started spec, or a lot of commercial trades. They use the balance sheet for all of their tracking. And so we use the Google Docs, and we just have, I've built a general template, and then we customize it based off of obviously the cost codes, what kind of builder they are, where they're, how they estimate it is how we want a job cost, right? So despite all of the builders that I have worked with over the years or trades, I can honestly say that only probably 5 have actually used the same list of cost codes. So I have a lot of samples of worksheets, but it becomes a lot. The more you have on the balance sheet for job costing, the more complicated it has become, especially to be able to provide the actual, like from by contract job costing, but then overall, because we also talk to our clients about job types, which is also an awesome option through the advanced, because you can add that as a custom field and use it as a filter when you're generating financials and reports. And so, I would say that I have a job costing workbook that has probably over the last 11 years of being in business for myself has taken me probably 500 hours, if not more, to build out so that I can do micro and macro job costing for my WIP clients.
And are you
back into it?
I don't know that you can, but did that have to, like, because there are other applications out there that cater to, this industry as well, did you find that it was just because there was so much uniqueness to what people were needing that it just made more sense to do it? Start with whatever QuickBooks does give you on an output, and then utilizing because it's so unique and tailored, I guess, to what they're needing.
I think almost a lot of our clients had started in that desktop environment. And so it becomes a little difficult in that transition, because now they're moving into the online platform that has a third of the capabilities that the specifically contractor version had in the desktop, from a true with job costing standpoint, but everything else also flowed better, right? So the desktop version just had so much more, and now they're coming into online, and we're like, well, you got to move online, but you also need to add probably maybe 3 different other applications to accomplish what we accomplished in the desktop version. And so there's obviously a lot of, we work with such a wide range of what we were talking about before, where people are in their business, to where it's just, it's a dad and son business, or we've got a custom home builder that's doing, a 75 to 100 different semi-custom home builds annually. For somebody like that, definitely it makes sense for them to financially invest in a job costing software. But for our custom home builders that are doing maybe 3 to 7 homes, maybe 8 homes on an annual basis, because they're large custom, financially, they don't want to make them move into a larger software or have all these add-ons. Most of them subcontract out. So the overhead, the operational standpoint is actually quite small, despite what they're building and accomplishing. And so, to keep it more simple for them just makes more sense. And like I said, how everyone job costs differently. It's just easier for us to utilize it. They like it, especially now with that instant Google connection. They're almost seeing live data, because we update in my firm. We're updating the books on a every other day for our high volume transactional clients.
And since do you find that the majority of your clients are in the home builder space, or more in the contractor field service type of industry, or is it a mix?
It's a mix. Our specialty is profit first job costing. So a lot we have, I want to say probably 10 different custom and semi-custom home builder clients. We have about 9 interior designers that do anything from, they actually are either production type interior designers, where they are working. I actually have one that works mostly in California on sets. And then we have, one that just is retired and does it for fun. And so a wide range of sizes, a wide range of industry types. We have plumbers, we have engineers, electricians, HVAC, all of that. Fortunately, none of them live here where I live, so I can never call on them when I'm in need for a reliable contractor.
You know a lot of them, but they're just not with you. And that was that kind of the driving. Was that kind of the driving factor to kind of wean off of desktop because of the location, the physical location of these businesses?
Yeah, of course. I come from a firm that was starting an outsourced accounting department 15 years ago, and we used Right Networks as a support platform, right? And we started using QuickBooks with some of them. So I think it used to be Coral Tree or something like that back in the day, right? But for the ease of how everything needs to flow, especially when you start connecting third-party applications, it becomes more essential for you to be on an online platform. It's just easier and it's less.
I actually see Sharon agreeing.
I'm a cloud girl. I have been since 2014, when it wasn't really cloud, but we had to pay like some overseas server $100 a month to host all of our desktops so we can log in remotely. I don't like working in an office. I want to work from wherever I want to work from. So I've always been a remote girl.
Cloud-based.
Cloud-based.
Now, with those special trades, right, they have some field service business needs that are unique to them, right? So, and what's in QuickBooks currently is estimates, right? So you have this ability for electronic approvals. You can now request deposits on estimates, and it actually tracks the the liability properly and applies it when you convert it to an invoice. Yay for that. Progress invoicing, where you can create multiple billings off of one estimate. Mobile payments, when they're standing in front of their customer, they can snap receipts. Billable time and expenses, and there's a built-in mileage tracker, using the mobile device. So some of these features may already be available or usable for your field service clients. But typically, as we have talked about before, those features are the shallow end of the pool. And there's some yeah buts, to all of that, because if you want to set up a mileage tracker, maybe they got to be maybe they have to have access to your QuickBooks that you don't want to give them, right? So
wait. Didn't they just create a new login in QuickBooks for people just tracking miles? I thought I saw that you can actually customize.
That's why I said maybe, because I wasn't sure.
Okay. I know I'm not the QuickBooks expert here,
But
even though
I think it was only in the
pro
advanced
how many years
version.
or whatever. Just kidding.
Yeah. Oh, there's
Sharon, I
an
think they
advanced.
did that, but it was only in advanced.
Oh, really? I swear. Well, maybe I'm thinking of my accountants.
Yeah.
That's where I kind of live, is
Okay.
in the accountant. And I remember I could add. So sorry if I hear accountant.
No, I could be wrong unless they change things too. But the last time
Yeah.
I read it was the advanced version that had all.
I would
that
imagine. I would imagine it'd be the advanced, because
Yeah, it's
if
just
they
the
need to
upgrade
be a
feature, right?
user, if they need to be a user, you have 25 users, and if you've got field crew, you would want them to be part of your QuickBooks
I mean,
Online.
honestly, I used to specialize in construction, right? I loved it. I loved it because I loved working with construction owners. They don't have time to tell me how to do my job. They don't have time to nitpick me. They come in, they're like, I don't know what I'm doing. Do what I need to do. Don't get me fined. Keep me in compliance. Tell me what I owe. And I love that. And you could talk to the construction men when they're doing something stupid. You're all like, hey, dum-dum. And they like that because that's how construction people communicate. Anyhow, but I use
you have to get rude
QuickBooks.
sometimes.
And that's okay. They like it. I mean, like it when women are mean to them for some reason. I don't know. It's inherent from their mothers. And I specialize in being mean to people that want me to be mean to them. Anyhow,
I'm going to add that as another perk as to supporting this trade. You could take your
There you
link
go.
out and they
I
love
like
it.
Let's talk about that. But I'm just saying, back in the day, we just had the QuickBooks desktop and it did pretty good. I do love now that they've added all these features, but even better is like Deanne was just saying, it's the shallow end of the pool. If you're just starting, you could get in, you could use this. And as you add more and more advanced, the plugins that we can add are amazing, like mileage tracker. There's probably so many things out there that we're like, hey, I'm thinking Ripley, right? If your payroll's on Ripley, I don't know if they do a prevailing wage, but they've got a mileage tracker in there. Anyhow, so I'm just saying that they've come a long way. And I love the fact that it's not like it was how many years ago when somebody had to turn me in a piece of paper and I had to manually write it. That's all. I just wanted to interject. I haven't spoken in about 15 minutes and I implode if I
know.
don't see.
And we don't want Sharon imploding at all.
I'm working on not interrupting after I got yelled at last week by a listener. I'm like, but Dan's teaching you too much and I have words. Okay, go ahead. I'll go back on you.
Well, speaking of, the getting into the deeper end of the pool, one of our spotlight sponsors, Method, one of their verticals that they specialize in the industries is field service. And they do allow create, they have some great out of the box features, but what I really appreciate about Method is its customization options, right? So if you can articulate what it is that you want Method to do to someone that knows how to customize it, they'll be able to make that happen, right? And some of the things that you get right out of the box is a client portal, so they'll be able to sign in, see their invoice, pay it, make a request, to add more things. Work orders is an option. You're going to have dispatching and scheduling, so field crew users, right? And you don't pay as much for those field crew users because that's all they need to do is be out in the field, right? So if you have a need for more field service, check out Method. All right. So let's launch a second poll question of, let's ask you and the audience, what metric matters most to your project-based clients? It is a single answer. And I know there's probably multiple answers that people would like, but choose the best option. All right. And while you're answering that, let's talk, we only have 20 more minutes. We'll talk about the construction edition. So this, we talked a little bit about this on the open tab where this was released. Now there's a little bit more information available. So the advanced add-on allows for project phases, cost groups, project budget enhancements, proposals, which is the separate transaction type, and change orders, which is a separate transaction type, AIA style invoicing, and more reports. Let's talk about proposals and change orders, not this type of proposal on bended knee, but this second type of transaction. So these are additional transaction types. So basically proposals can be a wish list, and then you can create estimates based off of that wish list. Multiple estimates can be linked to a single proposal. And then change orders, they are also segregated. Whereas desktop, the change order support or feature was essentially an audit trail on the invoice. Do you deal a lot with proposals and change orders with your clients, Shauna?
Yes, of course. Especially custom home builders, right? Or even the ones that are doing, no matter what kind of contract, I always have the change orders or VPOs, or even at the end, right? You've got the warranty ones that flow through. So the change orders is a big reason why I was just replying to somebody regarding why the PO process and why I don't use it with Plus is because there's more than just a PO that needs to be generated for true use of the feature. And the rest of it is just not available in QuickBooks, right? So the change orders is obviously a big one, and it's important to be tracked very specifically. And we probably all have the clients, if we're supporting contractors, that use the yellow pad to say, here's what I think it's going to be to their clients. And then as they enter, that we use that yellow pad as a guide, and we're like, oh, we're way off.
Yeah.
And then we have to send that to their clients to, bill them extra. Change orders is a massive one. And if you do allowances, that for that variance of what I was referring to starts to come into play too.
Got it. And then AIA billing. What is AIA and why are they so particular?
Because it is government controlled. I mean, these are documents that are your AIA billing. You're not going to have for everyone, but if you are doing any kind of government job or you are working through a bank, they're going to probably have the requirement of an AIA billing functionality. I don't have any clients right now that we're doing that on. I had a client last year. We still support him, but he was doing a project. It was a commercial project that we had to do the AIA billing for a commercial build in Key West, and that was a requirement for bank funding. So I'll be honest, I haven't used it within QuickBooks. I know that that's now a feature that's come out. I saw a couple of comments if we would use that functionality within QuickBooks, and I haven't. It's also new functionality that came out, and I have not attempted it. So I'd love to hear afterwards when I know we're approaching our time, but I'd love to get some feedback on what people are thinking about it though.
Yeah. And this is part of the challenge of, providing the information about these new features. And some of them are so specific for a specific use case. So now you got to talk to your client about it and then evaluate whether it's worth it. Which my next slide is the price of this add-on, right? And then see if if it does what you need it to do, because typically there's 80% of the things that it will typically do out of the box. And then there's that 20%. And we're always find that we're living somewhere in that 20% of unique circumstances when we, suggest something to our client. So the construction add-on pricing, it's only available in advance. So you can't add it on in plus. So if you have a client who needs this, they need to upgrade to advanced and then add it on in advanced, which it's $75 a month, which, comparative to, some of the other add-ons that are available, that's comparable or much less.
But how much is advanced? 200? So now you're paying, I don't know. I mean,
yeah, $275.
It just seems you have to add it. I feel like when you have an add-on like that, let's just start it like, I don't know, maybe there's reasons, but honestly, Dan, keep going because I have comments when you get down to a bullet point.
Okay. That when I said the promo period, they're probably going to have, promos on that $75, right? So I think now it's 50% for the first 3 months or something like that. So it's $37.50. But to your point, Sharon, if you do have to go from plus to advanced just to get the add-on, that's a significant jump from plus to advanced just to get a 50% discount. But they may do some promotional period when you upgrade to advanced, but that's the billing's entirely, up to them. I do want to point out that if you're on firm billed subscriptions, like if you're paying the subscription and you're managing it, you can't add it on. So it's not available for those in wholesale billing or the Pro Advisor preferred pricing.
So you're saying that, when you say you can't add it on, so I'm the one billing, I can't call into it and add it for my client. My client now has to call into it and add it on?
No, you can't add it on at all.
So you have to build a whole entire thing to the client?
Exactly. You'd have to essentially keep them out of your subscription.
Now I'm angry because now that pisses me off.
Is that
can Intuit just flat out say we are trying to remove accountants? We don't need you. We want all our accounting. When you call, we're going to say, well, what are you paying your accountant? Well, maybe you should just move everything over to Intuit. We'll do all your accounting. Like that just makes me mad
with their bookkeeping.
That's what I'm saying. Like, might as well just say, accountants, we are getting rid of you whether you like it or not. We're getting rid of desktop. You can't bill. Oh, now I'm angry. And you got me angry again. Keep going down. I don't want to talk anymore.
Stirred up a hornet's nest there. I'm looking at it in terms of they need to figure out how to add it and if they've got the right pricing before they include this as an option. But you may be right. You may be right.
Like they just were trying to appease some of the complaints coming in about the IES costs, and so they threw that out there without really thinking about the details and how it's going to be perceived, right?
Yeah, this is not uncommon, right?
We're not a blip on the radar anymore. We are no longer a factor in there. Before we were the entire factor in the Intuit world decision making. We are no longer a factor. They remove us from it, and their whole Intuit council is just to keep us appeased until we're all off a desktop.
Yeah,
that is my opinion. That is my conspiracy, and it angers me because they pretend like they play. Just be honest. Tell us the truth so we know how to function, but don't tell us that's not what you're doing. It's just not the lies.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, we're living in a world where anything's possible. And anything is, there's certainly it's all in the realm of possibility, but this is ideal for a single entity, right? Because, Intuit Enterprise Suite is better suited for those with multiple entities. So why go all the way up for that, right? Owner led or a lighter staff, where they don't have so many project managers and people in charge of this, and they're reliant on Excel to do a lot of these things, or light applications that feed into, that they want to feed into QuickBooks. Someone who's already on Notify or Builder-Trend or some other, software that they've already implemented will likely find that this is not worth that, transitioning all of that back into QuickBooks, or someone that's just hitting the limits of Plus or Advanced.
Well, even sometimes less is more in our accounting. So when you have a third-party product that works for your client, it does the POs, that does the estimates, and from a job costing standpoint, we can manage that whole process from A to Z. That makes more sense, and then just have less come into your accounting, right? That's your micro report, and then you used QuickBooks and the accounting side as your overall, how is everything performing?
All right. And then as far as Intuit Enterprise Suite, what's available just in Intuit Enterprise Suite, there's more enhancements with the project management AI. So creating budgets, project planning, profitability recommendations, cost allocations, a clothing summary. Those are available in Intuit Enterprise Suite that aren't available in the advanced construction add-on. There is a project manager role, which is specific. I was butting up against this because I had a client in the construction, and they wanted their project managers to have access to certain areas. And even in advanced, you couldn't give them the specific access that they needed without giving them all of the access they didn't want to give them. So there is a project manager role available for that. But if that's the only thing that's driving them up there, there might be a better alternative to go to than going to Intuit Enterprise Suite. There are more reports, and it's going to be augmented by the additional features that are core in Intuit Enterprise Suite, like the dimensions, right? So you'll be able to have a little bit more customizations on those things by using the core features of Intuit Enterprise Suite, which is dimensions, which is a big thing. So multiple entities, of course, is going to be, a core feature that is going to be when you have multiple entities, those workflows will be also streamlined. And then you'll be able to manage those milestones and tasks along the way. Do you have clients on Intuit Enterprise Suite, or you're getting into that realm now that they're...
I'll be interested in having my clients spend that much money on the product once they add in that balance sheet job costing. That's just a big, it's a big need for a lot of the clients that we are supporting that could afford and would need such a robust system. To put a small client on, even if they need project job costing to be on the balance sheet, but if they're doing 4 custom homes a year, I just can't foresee them spending, or would I suggest them to spend that kind of money on an accounting software. I would suggest that we find an alternative or exterior product, like you mentioned Notify, which I think is one of the only job costing platforms that is syncing with IES right now. I've also used Builder-Trend and JobTread, obviously, are ones that are great out there, and they connect just fine with QuickBooks Online, and they're affordable.
And that's the thing that we don't know as, external folks from on Intuit, right? We don't know what the cost of Intuit Enterprise Suite is, because there's this whole sales process that is currently owned by Intuit of scoping out what it is that they need, how many entities, and what other services that are included. And then, so we don't know if that cost is worth it. So you just end up having to have them a demonstration and go through that process and to find out whether or not that is even worth it or not. But we want to we talk about, we're going to talk, well, I mean, we did talk about the balance sheet WIT report, right? Because these are the buts when it comes to, these features are there, but, right? So the sales form customization limitations, right? You only have so much that you can do with the way that your sales forms look and feel. So estimates, proposals, right? So you don't get the granularity like you do in QuickBooks Desktop with the layout designer. There's no custom columns that you can add on invoices for line items. So that's a limitation, right? So if they need an additional custom field that's on a line item level, you're just not going to have those options. And then just reliant on the online ecosystem as far as other limitations like the user permissions, right? So if you're needing, someone to be able to do these things like that project management role, sometimes, especially in Plus where it's the user permissions are a light switch, they're on or off, no dimmer involved. Any other thoughts about the glass ceiling of QuickBooks Online when it comes to construction?
Yeah, I'll just say that I think we all have a love-hate relationship with the program itself, and we have to understand that there are capabilities. So I see comments about finding alternatives, and you just have to go based off of what's best for what you're doing, how many clients you're supporting. Obviously, when I mentioned the job reports, that's not conducive for everybody, depending on how or how frequently you're providing the reports back to your client. For my large custom home builders, it works well for us and it works well for them. And for if you've got field services or you have others, home builders or custom home builders, there are so many good third-party products where all that information can lay and provide that, information from a per job standpoint. That doesn't need to make it into the accounting. We can keep accounting simple, the book simple, but have the details within those individual programs as long as they are small enough for us to do it that way. The robust systems, when they come out, like the contractor version, once they update maybe that IES program and add WIP accounting, those home builders are going to do great in that, right? Or commercial subs are going to do great in that because they're going to need all of that. And most likely companies that size have more complicated financials anyways. No, I'm losing my voice.
No, so you have a 59-minute window on a speaking voice. So we'll talk a little bit about the B4CG, which is your new endeavor, bookkeepers for construction or contractor group. I
don't feel like it's that complicated, but I guess I say it over and over and over again. The bookkeeping for contractors group.
Just rolls off your tongue.
CG. I would like on the shirt. Banking. So he acronyms everything, right? So that's
I like it. Yeah, because then you throw it on a shirt, people are like, "Ooh, that seems really important." You're all, "Yep, it is." Right? And nobody knows, and then when they ask you, you get to promote your company. I really need to start helping people, tell people how to market because I'm better at telling people than doing. Yay! Shirts. Good shirts. Polyblend.
Yeah. Comfortable soft shirts.
So what is B4CG and how can people get involved?
So B4CG is essentially a platform doing it myself for so long. I kind of was seeing too many clients coming to me or prospects at the time, right, that their books were a total train wreck, or they might have even been close, a handful of them, to bankruptcy, thinking that somebody had their back with the accounting side. And so I just was seeing a lot of that and realized that there was a need for someone to come in and specifically walk through someone who's already an accounting professional who understands the basic on how to properly provide, job costing and services to these trades. I think that there's already this massive reduction in accounting professionals coming into the world. There was less and less graduates into program. But then specifically this industry has exploded since COVID. So I think that everyone's investing back in their home, and they need someone like us to be able to help keep them successful and show them how to build what was a dream or a hobby into something that can maintain life and grow. So I just was seeing that, and that's why I came up with this. So there's two ecosystems within the platform. Obviously, that accounting professional side, but I also do one-on-one projects and trainings with contractor and trade business owners directly on how to understand their financials, how to read a financial statement, what are the right questions to ask when they are hiring an accounting professional. And in some cases, our accounting professionals will receive referral to work with a contractor or trade business owner that come to us looking for support.
So as a member of the accounting professionals, you could potentially get more clients after you've been vetted, right? You would kind of they would come into you like you could refer a client to Shauna, and Shauna may say, well, this is not for me, but I have a group of people that I know would be confident to refer to, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We vet all of the accounting professionals that are coming in, like you mentioned. So you're taking a test that is handwritten, not all Q&A, so we can't just ask people everything. You have to handwrite some answers. But we also look at, we ask for degrees and do a small background with some references. I don't want to send you a referral and you not be the right qualification to handle that size of business or that specific industry of what they're looking for. So I want to make sure we're guiding you into the right hands of somebody that's going to provide you that support and clarity.
And if you didn't notice, you do get access to School of Bookkeeping. Which is how we kind of tie in. So I'll handle the QuickBooks stuff. You handle the contractor stuff, which is the way that we're kind of partnering.
Wait. Can I get thrown in here too? And I can help people, you're doing contractor, you're doing bookkeeping, and I'll do systems, operations, automations. I mean, we're a really good solution here for everybody.
All together. So I think you're onto something.
The trifecta.
I just decided I fix it. I just start coming up with an elevator pitch. What do you do? I fix businesses and I get owners unstuck. I don't know, for some reason, people. You like that?
All right, so I did launch the last poll question while you were talking there. Was this information useful if you want to learn more about the B4CG group? And then, of course, you can always stay connected with Sharon or myself by joining our community, our respective communities as well. But I think we do need to have, consolidated.
Yeah.
It's like a Voltron.
An umbrella. I like it. I join each other's communities. Oh, sorry. So we can join each other's communities when certain questions are asked. Well, hey, I'll answer that, but here.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to share my email too, just in case anyone missed the QR on the front. So if you guys had questions for me, I saw my name a handful of times, but I was more focused on it. So
we do send out the slides. I'll drop it in one more time. I have posted it a few times. So, and then everything does go out after. So we will have, just so you know, we will have a follow-up email to all of the 400 plus registrants, which is, I think, one of the highest amount of registrants we've ever had.
Yeah. So next time, Sharon's not going to be here.
I'm not? Oh, I'm going to be rippling on the road. Sorry, guys. I'll be teaching a roundtable in New York, rippling on the road.
So we will have a surprise guest host. So we're not saying who. But we are going to be talking, this is going to be our first in the new series of app showdowns, where we will be talking about Shopify connections and what is the best Shopify connection for X, right? So we'll go through the myriad of options that are available for customers or clients that want to get Shopify transactions into QuickBooks, and what might be the best one to choose for choosing the right tool. Hey, we segue back into construction because you don't want to use a hammer to put in a bolt, right? So thank you again for joining us, and appreciate putting up with our shenanigans here. Shauna, thank you again.
Intuit for pissing me off, so where my adrenaline is pumping and I'm ready to solve some stuff today. I'm so angry right now I can't even talk.
All right. Well, we have a clip to share later, Sharon, of Sharon's rant.
Oh, Intuit's gonna love that one.
All right. Thank you again for everyone joining us today. Shauna, appreciate you lending your expertise here.
Thank you.
We will see you next time on the QB Power Hour.
Thanks so much for tuning in to the QB Power Hour podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to support our amazing sponsors. You'll find them listed on our homepage at qbpowerhour.com. And if you're getting value from the show, we'd love it if you left us a review wherever you get your podcast. Your feedback helps us grow and reach more accounting pros just like you. Until next time, keep powering up your practice with QB Power Hour.